Okay, so we are going to just do a little tutorial on how to put in the pH calculations on your calculator. So I am using the TI-30X IIS, the scientific calculator, but I know some of you like to use your phones. But I'm going to give this tutorial using the calculators buttons, and you should be able to find it on your phone if you turn it to scientific operations. But you need to make sure that your phone or calculator has the log button, LOG, and it also needs to have a negative button and a caret button. So we are going to, this is from the notes. I'm just going to go through how to put all of this in your calculators, and then hopefully that will help you. So we already did the work here, but putting into your calculator this guy here, if we're putting negative log of the concentration of our hydronium. So I'm going to put this guy in. You're going to click the negative button, and on my calculator it's down by the equal sign, so negative button underneath the 3 button, and then you're going to click the log button. It's LOG, then you're going to, it will automatically on your screen pop in a parentheses. So you're going to put in your numbers now. So you'll type in 6.59, and then because we have this times 10, you'll do the EE. We've used that before, so you need to do where is it on this guy? For me, it's a second, and then the button above the 7 to get the EE, and then this one is negative 10, and then close your parentheses, and then equals button. So on your calculator screen, it should read negative log 6.59 E negative 10 parentheses. That's what your screen should look like. And then you hit equals, and you'll get 9.181 yada yada, and I rounded it to 9.2. That would be our pH. Then you should be able to do subtraction for example 2. That's not too tricky with your calculator. And then example 3, if we're using exponents, this one isn't too tricky either. So we want to know concentration, and remember concentration is brackets. So if you have whatever's in the brackets, that's asking for the concentration of, so this would be OH, which is why I wrote it like this instead of writing concentration of OH. It's just kind of a shorthand method. So in your calculator, to find this one, you will type 10, 1, 0, and then you'll want the little caret button. And then I like to put parentheses just to make sure, so put your parentheses. This one's negative 4.8, and then close your parentheses. Don't forget that negative, and then equals. And then I got from my calculator 0.0, lots of zeros, but I wrote it in scientific notation. So your calculator will not always show it in scientific notation if it doesn't have too many zeros like this one, but for concentration we prefer to write them in scientific notation, so just remember, move your zero over, or your decimal over, to find out what your exponent would be. So here's what my calculator gave me. And then here's the answer that I gave you, and that is because we can write this in scientific notation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where the -5 is coming from. Since this is a really tiny number, so this, I rounded to 1.6 times 10 to the -5th power. So that's where we got this answer here. Although that isn't what your calculator spits out immediately, you can rewrite it in scientific notation. So that's how we go about putting stuff in our calculators. Here's the turtle coloring calculations. So let's do a couple of these together just to make sure we're all set. So find the pH for each of these, then use the color scale to color the turtle. So our first one, we have hydronium. Concentration is 0.001. I'm going to actually write all of our helpful information here at the top. So we've got pH plus pOH equals 14. We also have the negative log of our hydronium will give us pH, and vice versa. The negative log of OH will give us pOH. And then our reverse processes, 10 to the negative pH will tell us our hydronium concentration, and 10 to the negative pOH will tell us our hydroxide concentration. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. So to find the pH for number 1, we're going to be using this guy, negative log of 0.001. Put it in your calculator, click negative log 0.001, close your parentheses, and you're going to get 3. And this makes sense because if we write 0.001 in scientific notation, it would be 1 times 10 to the negative 3rd power. And that matches this guy. 10 to the negative pH should be our concentration, which in this case it is. There's your pH right there. A little helpful hint, which number 3, that should help you. Right here is your pOH. And if you don't believe me, you can put it in your calculator and see for yourself. But remember, for this, you're finding pH, so that one you'd also have to subtract from 14 to get the pH. Number 2, pOH is 6. That's going to be using the sum of pH and pOH is 14. So if we have 14, 6 is pOH. What's our pH? Looks like it would be 8. So for your coloring, you're going to be doing all the 2s, light green. You're going to be coloring all of the 1s, red. Sorry, not red. See, this is why I'm explaining it, because it's confusing. It's number 1, but your answer was 3, so there's your 3. You'll do all the 1s pink. So that is how you go about solving for pH and pOH using your calculator.